So I'm going to start with you, Ioanna. So you would never know it, but Ioanna has a visual impairment. Okay? And through this disability, you've had to overcome a lot of different barriers. Now, whether it was how you found your sense of belonging, how you figured out how to elevate your confidence, and or even discover your capabilities. But how did you navigate your higher education experiences by breaking free of your own fears?
Going into college, I was very worried. My biggest fear was failure, that I wouldn't graduate, that I wouldn't do as good as my other classmates because I had something holding me back. I didn't see college as an option, and I set a goal for myself, and that was graduating, and I wanted to do it in 3 years. When I was presented with issues, I had to solve them right away, or it would prevent me from solving the smaller goals. And to tackle those issues, I did need to be open and reach out to my professors or the disability office or my support group and brainstorm solutions. And being open and advocating for myself is really what helped me navigate my goals.
So what are some of the big lessons learned that you can teach us about navigating uncertainty?
I would say the biggest lesson is adaptability, because for me, almost every day presents itself with something uncertain. A big part of my vision impairment is that when lighting affects a lot, so if it's really bright, I can't see very well at all, and I need to use my cane. If it's dim or if it's dark, I can see pretty well. So when I have something come up, I never know how well I'll be able to see. But walking to class is required. It doesn't matter how bright it is or anything, but it is something uncertain, and practice makes perfect. So the more you put yourself in uncomfortable and uncertain situations, that's your way to grow.
Think about how all of us here in the room don't have a visual impairment, and all the opportunities that you had because of it, and yet she had one and decided to block out the noise to give herself the focus to meet her goals, while we allow the noise all around us to get in way of our goals. Just put that in perspective. So Ioanna, some people are afraid to talk about others' disabilities because they're worried about saying the wrong thing. What is fundamentally different about people with disabilities, and how can academic institutions be more inclusive with those individuals?
Yeah, so it kind of goes both ways, to be courageous, but also have people be open to your disability. And I think people are afraid to talk about them because it's not talked about enough. And it makes sense, like you don't want to be insensitive or anything, but I think academic institutions specifically should be more open about disabilities. And just to make a more inclusive environment, we should talk about it more.
It's really interesting that you're talking about how schools don't really want to open up about these issues and talk about them. Because if we don't talk about those issues, how are we supposed to connect with the people that, may face them, or you want to learn more about them? We're denying them that opportunity, and we're denying them a space where they can actually be safe.
Thank you, Brielle. Scott, do you think the diversity of thought and opinion is valued in higher education?
So with my experience with the diversity of thought and opinion, isn't as prominent as it in the corporate environment as it is for higher education. Within higher education, I say that there's, it's pretty minimal when it comes to the number of professors that try to engage in healthy discussion or debate. I think going off of the foundation or the basis of we can, agree to disagree is really important. I think that should be, prioritized, or at least brought into the classroom more and more, because it allows you to see, the perspectives of your peers who have different backgrounds and see where they're coming from, which could ultimately change or influence your opinion kind of down the road.
Did you encounter that with your peers in the classroom? Did they challenge or no?
To be honest with you, it isn't as common as you would think. I don't know if that's because of recent times, As an example, there have been occasions in the past where I've been told to write academic papers based off certain topics, and I will choose to write a topic that I don't necessarily agree about in order to get higher marks or higher scores on that assignment. And on the contrary, I have written papers that I know some of the professors might not agree with, but I think are factually based or factually evident. And I support my argument, and I won't receive as high of a score or a mark on that paper just because it might be a little bit contrary to what the professor thinks.
On this same note, Brielle, how can teachers or employers create an environment in which they and their students and employees can feel safe to speak up?
We need to learn how to be able to open up to other people and communicate with each other, because that will actually contribute to more productivity. We should see that as a way of strengthening a group, because a group is only strong when everybody understands each other. And it's possible. It's absolutely possible, even in the biggest of schools. What needs to happen is that teachers need to facilitate the students in a way where they can all open up to each other and all feel comfortable in opening up to each other.